Nice, nice, nice. All right. Your backgrounds are all going to be in your Facebook Messenger. Heat up that chat with your email or however you want us to reach out to you. How do we reach out to you? Hello, Jocelyn. You should have your background in your Facebook Messenger. And we are just putting in how you want us to contact you. Is that an appointment link? What does that look like? And then we're going to go ahead and start going around the room. And we are going to do our very, very, very best 30-second introduction. 30-second introduction. Woo! All right, Grace looks ready. Let's start with Tricia, then we'll go to Dr. Pat.
I love that, Grace. That's awesome, right? I love it. Just own it. Hi, everybody. My name is Tricia Parido. I am an architect of life fulfillment and transformation. And what I do is I craft unique paths to personal attainment, comprehensive well-being, and lifelong wisdom. Teaching people my ultimate emotional intelligence method.
Beautiful, beautiful. Dr. Pat, and then we'll go to Jocelyn.
Hi, I'm Dr. Pat. Everybody knows what I do. I host virtual events, set a platform for entrepreneurs to connect, speak, be seen, be heard, so that they can increase their leads and get new clients. And I'm happy to be here. And my information is in the chat.
Thank you, Dr. Pat. Thank you very much. Let's go to Jocelyn and then to Jen.
Okay. I'm Jocelyn Bilodeau, and I'm a mindset results coach. I help people eliminate anxiety and people-pleasing tendencies, helping them, stand in their power and create boundaries and create the life that they really truly desire and start living life. That's me, Jocelyn Bilodeau. Thanks.
Awesome. Jen, and then we'll go to Grace.
I'm Jennifer Falloon with Vorsa Investments. We buy commercial assets all over the nation, and we are currently looking for investors and investor partners. So if you have money or no money, call me, and all my information is in the chat.
Awesome, Jen. Grace, and then hopefully Tanya will be ready.
Well, I'm a theologian and a biblical scholar and an entrepreneur. And what I bring to you is the best gourmet coffee, the healthiest, and capsules. And it is infused with the mushroom of spirituality and immortality. And for further discussion about the coffees, teas, or capsules, we can have a coffee talk.
Beautiful, beautiful, Grace. And Tanya, come on down.
Hi, I'm Tanya Parker, and I'm trying to get this thing to work, but it's not working for me real well. But give me a minute. I'm the CEO of Legendary Events, and I help women be seen and heard and get on stage and teach what they know. I want them to build influence with the clients, with the women in the audience, and I give them a space to do that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you. All right. Okay, so with that said, I am going to go ahead and turn over the next 25-ish minutes to Tricia Parido, and she is bringing us something that I've never really thought about, to be honest with you. I mean, how many of you really thought about our topic tonight? Psychonutrition. Okay, Grace.
Grace has.
Teach us, Tricia. Teach the rest of us.
Okay, so do I have access to share my screen?
Yes.
Right. And there's only so much I can teach you in this amount. And Jen, thank you so much for just your smile and your aura and your energy right now. I feel you feeling me. Everything's kind of blurry, and I'm just, thankful that I have a giant screen and I can see to click the next button, right? And I'm not going to bore you with a ton of slides, but, I thought, well, gee, let's not just get up here and ramble, right? Like, let's give you some things to visually hold on to. So, I'm going to do that, and bear with me if I do it wrong, right? So, let's wait, let me go share my screen first in case y'all disappear, right? Share, and then present. Okay. So you guys just see the slide, yeah? And oh, wow.
I see it. Yes,
I
it
did
looks
it wrong.
nice.
Wait, I did it wrong. Escape. I need to do this. I didn't choose the right one, right? Because I have some cues and prompts for me. Okay, so you still just see the big slide, yeah? I've never split my screens so that my laptop and anyway, yay me. I did it. I feel all technology savvy. So anyway, I'm super thrilled, to see all of your faces here today, interested enough to dive into this powerful connection between nutrition, mental health, emotional well-being, and self-confidence. So we're not gonna just talk about sciencey stuff today. I definitely will be bringing in stories and journeys and tangible steps so that you can, be thinking about a healthier, more confident self, right? So, we'll start with, who I am. I've already introduced myself, but, I want to take you back, just way back, actually, right? Like a good 28 to 30 years ago. But it's a time when, like my relationship with food was anything but healthy. Some of you may know this about me, and some of you may not, but I've struggled deeply with body image and dysmorphia, and seeing a really distorted version of myself every time I looked in the mirror. And so this really parlayed me down a dark path of restrictive eating and anorexia. So, if maybe you can imagine, right? Like each meal in my late adolescence and early adulthood, felt like a battleground. And a lot of my self-worth was wrapped up in that impossible ideal of perfection. And the battle, of course, with anorexia was pretty intense, or got there. And there were definitely days when eating felt like a huge enemy. I felt trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and control needs, right? So it was during these challenging times that I began to understand that profound impact of nutrition on my mental, emotional health, right? Of course, the physical, but I wasn't really focusing on that so much at first. So I was really focusing on that, mental and emotional space. And the recovery journey was long, right? But it taught me some very invaluable lessons about self-care and self-acceptance. And, I say, recovery journey was long because, it's a journey, right? Like it's food. We can't put it down like we can alcohol. So rediscovering that joy with eating for me was like finding that lost part of myself. I learned that food isn't just fuel, it's a vital part of self-care. So embracing nutritious foods helped me rebuild both my body and my mind, which led to a balanced, healthier relationship with food. And I've done this multiple times over during that 28 to 30-year period of time. In fact, just yesterday, to kind of bring you into today, right? Like not yesterday, I guess today's Wednesday or Thursday. Today's Wednesday. Just Sunday, right? Like I had a really heartfelt conversation with my husband about a current struggle, right? That's really been weighing on me. And so even though I'm someone that is highly educated and trained and teaches about body positivity, mental wellness, right? Like I still face challenges. And lately, And we all, I don't know, everybody, we have different ages here, right? Like we have those cycles that happen. But lately I've been grappling with, some changes in my own body's shape. And it's at times made it difficult to look in the mirror again. And it's, brought things back to like, hey, let's like limit, the time we spend in the mirror. So what happened was, like late last year, I went through one of those metabolic changes we go through, and I experienced a quite rapid, right, like increase in body fat and a change in body structure. So although it's been improving, right, it's still been a significant thing for me, Tim, and I like to be honest that, it's like, hey, this relationship with our physical body, our emotional and mental well-being, it's a relationship. It's not a, quick fix kind of thing. So the key lesson that I've learned that I want everybody to hear is just that, right? It's that importance of avoiding crash diets or that impulsive all in, all out kind of thing, because the real true lasting results, especially when we're talking about the mind, right? The emotions and the physical functioning, the lasting results come from careful evaluation, thoughtful modification, and consistency over time. That's why for 28 years, I can say I'm anorexia, free, those kinds of things, right? So today, what I call it is I call myself a functional eater, right? So I consume foods that nourish my body, support my mental wellness, my emotional stability, and respect my physical needs. And this is what's been crucial for me to stay grounded, confident, focused. I don't know, all the cool, fun things that make me. For any of you that have seen me like in any kind of repetition, but even on the toughest days. So who here, because I want energy. I'm an energy sucker, right? So right, who here maybe can relate to, say, maybe having like negative images with the mirror, right? What about anybody ever catch themselves eating for an emotional purpose? What about just being overwhelmed at the thought of healthy nutrition? Like, I don't know what to do, right? Like, I thought I ate healthy. Sure. Like this is super common. I have these conversations all day, every day, right? All day, every day. So to support that, right, I'll share with you, a few client stories, right? Like one client in particular, huge perfectionist, right? Huge perfectionist. Constantly felt like the pressure to meet like an unrealistic standard, up to and including when they were putting their makeup on, like not being able to get the mascara and everything like totally symmetrical, right? Like, and that constant stress, sorry, my dog's gonna bark until I open the door. That constant stress, really affected her in a way that, because we had that oxidative stress come in, and that oxidative stress affected her mental and physical health. So by adjusting her dietary practice to include more antioxidants, practicing mindfulness, which I know sounds like a big fat broad brush, because it is, because we don't have time. So she was able to reduce all of those stress levels and completely improve her overall well-being, mind, emotion, and physical body. Another client, huge overwhelm and anxiety, especially during social situations. So her coping mechanism, right? Like she'd go to these networking events or family, barbecues or whatever, and she would just hover around the food table, right? Like just always snacking on whatever it was. It was almost like she had to have that hand to mouth going for her to feel comfortable. So through our sessions, what she was able to do was learn to identify healthier coping skills and incorporated foods that supported her mental health and reduce, so that would reduce her social anxiety over time. So, learning what things to choose, but also to not need that as a coping. And then the third client that I wanted to bring here was my client that found that whenever she was sad, and that sadness was, could have been anything. It could have been just, like I didn't get the sale I wanted today, or, whatever it was. She would curl up on the couch with, like the whole container of Ben and Jerry's. And a lot of times that, she'd have chocolate chip cookies baked and she'd bring those with her, right? And it would be Ben and Jerry's and the chocolate chip cookies as her comfort. That was her go-to unwind, decompressed comfort way for her. So we took the time, we explored those emotional triggers behind her eating habits, introduced balanced, nutritious alternatives, but also developed healthier coping mechanisms that supported her emotional and physical health. And a lot of this also included, like supplementation to help with anxiety. I mean, I could talk for hours on this topic. We could go into the full realm of things because there's different levels of anxiety. There's different, there's just different things. I have physiological anxiety. And so there's, physical cues that I have that I go, oh, okay. Right. And so I have supplements that help with those things, et cetera, et cetera. So again, how many of you have ever just said, I'm just going to, and I've heard women, especially in the grocery store, standing in the ice cream aisle, like, pack of girlfriends, like, oh, let's get the ice cream and we're all going to go, we're going to go huddle on the couch and watch movies and just eat this sadness away. So, can anybody identify with the emotional eating? Yeah. What about the social anxiety? How do you feel in a social situation? Maybe it's not food, could be something else. Maybe you always got to have a drink in your hand. Yeah. So, right, like that's the real deal. That's like, oh my gosh, so many people, right? Like I've worked with thousands of people and this is like a normal story. But when we get the right tools intact for the cognitive body, the emotional body, and the physical body, like those things just dissipate. They just dissipate. And it's almost like, oh, where'd they go? Right? Like it's pretty awesome. So, okay. So the importance of nutrition and mental health, the whole reason you are here, self-confidence. So let's dive into a little bit of that science-y stuff. Who's heard of the gut-brain axis? Okay. So our gut and brain, and yes, I usually talk about the gut-heart-brain axis, but I'll bring in the heart stuff in a minute, right? But so our gut and our brain are in constant communication. So a healthy gut can significantly improve our mental health, reducing symptoms of anxiety and depression. People don't think that they can heal their anxiety and depression by healing the gut, but you can. So when we're stressed and anxious or depressed, our bodies react by increasing the production of stress hormones like cortisol. Okay, there's others, but I'm just keeping this, mainstream top line information. So our body's going to, when we're stressed, we're anxious, we're depressed, right? Like our body's going to, increase that production of the cortisol hormone. Maybe, you've noticed like you're doing something, right? Whatever, you're getting like stressed out or whatever, and your gut distends. That's what we call a cortisol dump. So this can lead to inflammation, oxidative stress, which also can in turn affect our mental health or our mental clarity, which also affects our mood, and our mood affects our overall health. And then you throw in poor nutritional choices, And now we're just exacerbating these issues. And this creates that vicious cycle of emotional and physical distress. So, negative impact, okay? Just bullet points. Chronic stress can deplete essential nutrients, leading to fatigue and a weakened immune function. Poor nutrition can increase anxiety levels, making it harder to cope with daily challenges. Depression, so lack of proper nutrients actually can worsen the depressive symptoms and decrease overall mental well-being. When we're striving for unrealistic standards, that perfectionism, right, that can cause significant stress and anxiety, sometimes depression, right? So now we're like, okay, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And the same, when we feel overwhelmed, this leads to poor dietary choices, which can negatively impact, again, the cognitive health, the emotional health, and the physical health. But, right? So when we work to find out what for us as a unique individual being, right? Because I can't just go, here, guys, go do this, because each and every one of you are completely different. Your environments are different. How you see and experience your environments are different. How you respond to them is different. How you're, everything about you is unique, right? Like you are made up of all of your own unique cells. So I can't, but what I can do, right, is say proper nutrition is going to support brain health, reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. Nutrient-rich foods are going to enhance your cognitive function and your mental clarity. Balanced nutrition, right, is going to give you sustained energy and will improve your overall mood. And so even if you go, I like to do intermittent fasting, right? Cool beans. That doesn't mean your nutrition needs to be balanced. It doesn't mean that you're only consuming X amount, like this small little amount of calories and you're starving the rest of the day. Anyway, nutrients that support your nervous system are going to help manage your stress more effectively. And a healthy diet builds physical and mental and emotional resilience, which will enable you to handle life's, never mind, I won't say it. She's recording. But, so it will enable you to handle life's challenges that get tossed your way more effectively. So similarly, and I told you I'd bring heart in, right? Like our heart plays a crucial role in our emotional well-being. And so we have this gut, heart, brain axis, right? That all works together. And most people nowadays, they focus on the gut brain, right? Gut brain, gut brain, gut brain, gut brain. They don't even think about the heart one, right? So it plays a crucial role. So the practices that support our heart health, like proper nutrition and stress management, can enhance our overall mental resilience. And foods that are good for your heart, like leafy greens, berries, and nuts, also support your brain health. So we need this system to be talking, right? We need it to be talking. And I work with clients every day, right? So I have those that stall out, right? Like they get really good, right? Their emotional intelligence is great and they do pretty good. We'll call it 75% of the time, but they still run into these derailments. They still run into the 2 p.m. fatigue. They still run into the da-da-da. But guess what? They're also not willing to complete their journey, right? They're like, I eat healthy, whatever, leave me alone. And a lot of times people do. They have really healthy selections. It's the order in which they're eating it is based on somebody else's design for who knows who they designed it for, but that person got a really great result. And now they're trying to sell it as great for everybody. Right. So, you know, you could be eating all the right foods, just in the wrong order, in the wrong quantity, in the wrong combination for you to have that complete, right? Like that completeness. Also, people, you know, are often, you know, I eat healthy, I don't need supplements. It's untrue. We're all at different periods and phases of our life. I eat extremely healthy, but half of my nutrition intake for the day is in liquid form. Why? Because my body, the way it functions, right? I get better results this way. Anyway, so it's a unique journey for everybody. So if it's like, oh, you know, my mindset, and I'm always going back to, oh, I got to learn something else, right? I got to go back. Perhaps it's, you haven't completed your journey. You're too focused on just that mindset, just the mindset. I'm only focused on the mindset and, you know, eating healthy. So when I teach life balance, it's not just home, work, and health, right? Like we're looking at 14 categories and they all have to be interworking. Anyway, just super important. So specific nutrients and foods that boost our brain function and mood. What are they? Right? What should we focus on, Tricia? Like, where do we start? So first up, omega-3 fatty acids. These are found in fatty fish, flax seeds, walnuts, and they're essential for brain health and mood stabilization. Now, the quality of these things matters, and I'll touch on that, you know, a little bit more, but where you get them and how you get them and how much and all of those things, right? Like it matters. B vitamins, which you can get from leafy greens, legumes, and whole grains. Like these are crucial for energy production and reducing anxiety. But if you're me, I can't eat raw leafy greens. I can't eat legumes. I can't eat, you know, whole grains. And I say can't, like in their raw natural form. They're all in here, right? So how do I do that? But those are going to give you that energy production and help reduce all of that anxiety. Magnesium, this is a tough one, but it's found in nuts, seeds, and dark chocolate. This helps with relaxation and stress reduction. It also helps with your digestive system, right? Like being regular. Antioxidants, those are present in your berries, your dark chocolate, and vegetables. And what they're doing is they're protecting the brain from oxidative stress, and they're improving your cognitive function. Everybody with me so far? Yeah? Quiet bunch. So actionable steps. Ready? Let's talk about it. How do we incorporate these very few vital nutrients into our day? It can be challenging, right? To get everything we need. And it's even harder to get the right amount and the right combination, like I was just talking about. So we want to not forget the difficulty of ensuring quality. And that's just a big deal. Quality is huge. So when it comes to supplements, the over-the-counter options from drugstores and even some vitamin shops, like they're going to fall short in terms of effective absorption rates. And I believe in balance between whole foods and supplementation. I kind of think I've, you know, highlighted and illustrated that, but it's a fact that some nutrients just don't agree with everyone's system. But also our foods kind of lack, right? Like, and you know, if you're not farm to table in it, and you haven't vetted the farm that you're getting your farm to table food, and you don't really know, right? Like the quality, and I have a husband and a son that are in the, you know, the food and beverage industry, and you know, they just kind of cringe because, you know, they see it and it's like, this farm is, you know, organic, you know, all these things, but the one right next door is spraying pesticides. And if you think that's not blown over into your beautiful organic farm. So again, if you're not vetting, if you're not investigating, if you're not doing, you aren't really sure. And you could grow it, at home anyway, soil tests and all of these things, right? So anyway, everybody's system is different, and our absorption rates are different. And so, I know some clients that need more vitamin D than others, right? Like there's some that just don't absorb it. I'm like, we're taking 3,000 IUs to 5,000 IUs, depending on where they live and how well they, absorb it. And then there's others that it's like, I only take it when it's like, foggy, or whatever, gray, and I'm not getting the outside. So everybody's different. So as I share these tips, I'm definitely extending to each and every one of you, an invitation to work together to create a personal roadmap for you, to start that investigative process. But, I want you to know, like, start your day, some other ideas, right? Start your day with a smoothie that's packed with leafy greens, berries, flaxseed, whether you get it in, juicer form or like I do, right? Like I vetted where I get mine and where I buy them. And so that you're, it's an efficient way, right? To kickstart your nutritional intake and to get your system, that gut, heart, brain access talking, right? You can keep nuts and dark chocolate on hand for a quick brain boosting snack. But let's talk about that. Don't bring the entire jar of the nuts and the entire thing of chocolate, the dark chocolate chips or whatever, and set it on your desk. You want to know what is a portion for you. And I can't even tell you what your serving size is. Like that is something that I believe is unique to each person. Don't read the back of a label and think you know what the serving size is for you. It's not accurate. I have my own unique serving size of all the different things LaDonna does, Jen does, right? So you want to make sure that it's like, oh, what is my serving size of nuts, and what is my serving size of chocolate? But it is a good thing to have, right, on your desk for that. You want to include fatty fish like salmon in your meals. Or if you're more plant-based, you could try some chia seeds. They're both really excellent sources of omega-3 fatty acids. I strongly suggest a supplement because, I don't know, are you sticking a pole in the water, and do you know where that fish is coming from, and right? How was it raised? What was it treated like? Same with chicken, right? Like we all know the chicken thing. So, and hydration is a huge thing. Like, I know that might sound redundant, and everybody says, you gotta stay hydrated, but seriously, you've got to have enough water, and whatnot, right? So, and then just remember, right? Like it's important to choose supplements with high absorption rates for the best results, because the fact is we all have our unique needs. If you find certain foods don't agree with your system, we can absolutely explore alternatives and tailor a nutrition plan that's right for you. And again, this invitation is just being extended, right? Like I'm happy to, kind of dive in with you. It's a process and it takes a little time. But so mindful eating. I have an exercise that I give to my clients to do, which teaches them the difference of what happens when you eat mindful, when you think you're eating mindful and you're really not, and when you're just, going through the motions, right? So you want to savor each bite, listen to your body's hunger cues, slow it down, maybe, reduce your interaction with foods, meaning don't have 3,000 ingredients on your plate, right? Like choose a few things. Don't hesitate to seek support, right? If you don't want to come talk to me, that's fine, right? Like, do you have nutritionists? There's therapists, there's all kinds of things. If whatever your list of things are. And I'm also a really good sounding board to help you identify, like, where will I get the best direction. So to wrap it up, right? The key points we discussed: the importance of nutrition in mental health and self-confidence, our specific nutrients that boost brain function and mood, and actionable steps for incorporating these foods into daily meals. And you definitely want to be reflecting on your relationship with food and consider how small changes may improve your mental, emotional, and physical health. Because every single step that you do is a step towards greater confidence and well-being. So let's open the floor for questions. I encourage you to share struggles or desires, concerns, but regardless, just thank you for giving me your time, your energy, your space.
Tricia, my first thing, and I'm sure probably everyone is thinking it, is how do you help us figure out what foods work for us? What is in consideration when you do that?
Okay, so it very much is dependent on people, but I have very specific tools that I utilize. So I have a 7-day healthy living journal, right? That I will give people and say, okay, right? Don't diet, don't do anything, don't sway from how you've been eating every other day, right? But complete this, send it to me so that I can review it, right? And then I may, have some immediate. Sometimes we've got to look at it a little bit longer, because in that journal, right, it's when we're investigating the fuel, it's very little written in on what did I eat, right? But there's an hourly accounting for, right, how do I feel physically and emotionally and mentally, right? Like, we've got to fill those in every hour. And so if somebody takes shortcuts, it may take longer, right? And some things are a little bit more straightforward. Some things it's like, okay, like, why don't we try this and see if it makes a difference? Because sometimes it's easier for me than it is other times, right? To be able to start making recommendations. I have clients that are struggling with the menopause and the night sweats, and it's kind of affecting their cognitive, right? And I already kind of know, like, okay, let's try this and see if that helps, like, as a small thing. And if we get like a movement from it, then okay, cool, like we can add the the whole protocol.
Now, is the 7-day journal, is that something we can get online from you?
Yes, it does need I think, is it still there, LaDonna?
Yes, it is. Just asking for everyone else.
Like, is it still there? Did we take that off? Because I know I said I was going to update it and add another column, but absolutely you can get it. I think it's on the homepage under resources.
Yes.
Oh no, it's under free download, right?
Asking you questions. I'll get the link for you.
Okay, thanks.
So who else has a question for Tricia? Jen, come on down.
So I was at a women's group, and there was some, I don't know, healthy ladies there. And the question was to me, had I started perimenopause yet? And I don't know if I'm in perimenopause. Like, I don't feel like I am. But she was like, if you're in perimenopause, you better get used to just how you are right now. How you look today is how you are going to look until you are through with perimenopause.
I almost did something really bad right now.
And I was like, holy shit, somebody should have told me that 5 years ago. So I could have been all healthy before I got to perimenopause. And so then I just kind of gave up, right? And I'm like, well, this is just who I'm going to be until I die.
No. Can I say no? It's
Yes.
not true. It's true if you want it to be true. If you want to hear what they're telling you, it's not true. At all. Right? Like, you can right? That doesn't mean we go through life symptom free. Like I still get headaches. I still get bloated, whatever, right? But the propensity is drastically reduced. And the symptoms can be almost, if not all the way, removed. I mean, literally, Jen, in the way that I do this, I've removed rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's, gastroparesis, and mixed connective tissue disease. And that's not to say I can remove diseases from you guys, right? Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I did that for myself. I didn't think I could. I was just trying to make life better, right? And I did, and then lo and behold, like they don't show up on the test. I also have been postmenopausal since I was 29, and like there are things that you can do to alleviate the symptoms. I have one client, like we went through, we did the whole thing, we made our adjustments, added some critical key effective supplements, and she's like off of their hormone replacement, no night sweats, no hot flashes, energizer bunny, blah blah blah. So it's dedication, willingness, consistency, right, and patience, right? But it can be done, and you're not destined to the whatever they say, oh, here's the extra 10 pounds, and here's the slow metabolism, and here's the blah blah blah. No, you don't have to buy into that. There's ways we can improve that, fix it, whatever. Anyway, yeah, you're not doomed.
Yes, thank you for that.
I can't read the chat, so if there's questions in there, guys, like blur. Everybody's good?
Let me look. I put the food journal link in there for you, the free downloadable. So please go to that link and grab that. Even if you don't utilize it today, maybe you can start it Monday but start it now. Just start it in the morning, and then that way you've got it started.
I mean, yeah, like get interested, like, and I know that there's not all the columns that I'm talking about, right? But how do I feel? So I ate this, whatever, right? But starting at the beginning of your day till you go to bed every hour, how do I feel physically, emotionally, and mentally, right? Because mentally we could be foggy, we could be sharp, we could be alert, but emotionally we could be irritable, agitated, annoyed, intrigued, inspired, whatever, right? So get good with your adjectives. Don't, if you're going to send it to me, don't send me the word good and fine, because I'm going to say that has zero meaning to me. Fine is the most ambiguous answer I've ever heard in my life.
Because, I think I'm probably the worst eater. It's not that I overeat. You would think by looking at me, I overeat, but I don't. I'll skip breakfast. Sometimes I'll skip lunch. I'll drink my water because I have it on my desk at all times.
So your metabolism stopping, guessing, when is she going to feed me? Let me store things that I might need because I don't know, Just like I said about my story, right? Like there's a reason why anorexia isn't part of my life, and it's because, right, I cultivated the skills that I needed mentally, emotionally, physically, right? I cultivated them, I nurtured them, and I conditioned them. So whenever something comes up, I already know what to do. And it's on, like the mirror. Okay, like I've got to say it out loud to people. Like I got to say, I'm struggling with the reflection in the mirror, right? Like so that I can, and I gotta start that. Like why, right? And then I sometimes have to ask, can you please, I ask my spouse, can you please tell me, because he'll tell me, right? Like what parts of what I'm seeing are true and what parts aren't, right? And if you don't know what body dysmorphia is, Google and ask it to give you an image of what, give me an image of body dysmorphia looks like. for somebody.
Real quick, let's get a picture. Everyone look at the camera, and then we're gonna go to Dar. All right. Oh, Dr. Rogers, can you look at the camera real quick? All right, now I think I have everyone looking. All right, Dar, come on down.
Okay, I posted a couple of things in the chat. The first one I'll actually tell about the second one. It's a recipe for a shake that Abby and I both have started about 3 months ago. And we have very proudly and very realistically been reversing diabetes. Yeah, it's just
See?
amazing. So it's hard, it's very difficult, but it's actually, the drink is very palatable. And I actually like it. I really like it. Now that having said that, the second, well, the first thing I posted was a comment I said about how I could quit smoking 20 years ago. I can quit drinking, but I can't quit eating.
That's right. And that's
Right?
and so, you know, people just, and a lot of times people don't get it. And I love that everybody here gets it, right? Like, hey, I got to put down the prescription benzodiazepines, the Xanax for anxiety. I got to put that down. I got to put down the alcohol. But let me tell you, right? Like when I put down food, right? Like 88 pounds didn't look so good on me.
Right.
As an adult parent, right? Like it didn't look so good. It was definitely unhealthy.
Mhm.
And you know, like telling your mother-in-law, like, oh no, thank you, I ate last week. Right? Like that's just not a good look. So you know, you can't just put down food.
No, you can't.
But if you pick up only bad things, right? Like, and I'll just say this, if it's ultra processed, don't buy it. And what I mean by that, packaged and in a bag, right? Like I don't even go up and down very often. I mean, sure, I keep canned beans, whatever, right? For that quick pot of chili, but I wash them, right? I soak and wash them to make them as close to, because I don't know what it is they suspend the beans in a can. I don't know what is that stuff in the can. It's gross, but right. So, but you want to stay away from the ultra processed foods as much as possible. I mean, and so if you're, you know,
And
you can't buy Morton's fish sticks and say I'm getting my omega fatty acids, right? Like my omega 3s. Like you're getting fish-ish, right? Like it's kind of fish.
Anyone else have a question? Dar, you have your hand up?
yeah, I don't know why it's still up there, but just to wrap my part of it up, and I know everybody, mostly everybody here knows that I've had something extremely severe happen to me in the last 3 weeks. And it is imperative, everybody, to just pay attention to your health and how you're feeling. And something weird happens, go to emergency. It's detrimental.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
thank you. That is so important. And if you learn, because there's a way to learn how to hear your body, right? And luckily, Dar, I don't know what happened because I anyway, well, we should catch up. We haven't talked in a while, but you know, if you learn how to hear what your physical body is telling you, remember it's all connected. Then you go, oh, right? Like I've saved my own life numerous times just going, right? Like this thing that's happening right now isn't good, right? Like I need to go to the ER. Like whatever this is, not good. Like, oh, I sit down and I suddenly can't breathe. Oh, that, you know, free fluid happening in your belly there, lady. Like, hello. So, you know, we got to learn how to listen to what our system, this is our universe, right?
Yes.
And it's the only one we're ever going to get, right?
Any other questions? Tanya, any questions? No? Jocelyn?
I do have a question.
Okay.
I have a friend who's trying to get me to do Juice Plus. No, I had gastric bypass 15 years ago. And, every year you put on a little more, a little more. Now I'm back at my pre-gastro bypass weight. But I'm also on chemotherapy, steroids,
Okay.
and a lot of things that aren't working in my favor. And off and on antibiotics, just different things like that. So vegetables I can eat. They want me to eat. They don't want me to drink a lot of things that are going to go through my stomach and not stay in there. Because
Mhm.
things only stay in there for 20 minutes. And
Mhm.
juices in and out, and I get no nutrients
No,
from
you're
it
not
at all.
absorbing anything. Yeah.
Right. So eating the food and making conscious choices would probably be better for me than juicing.
I would say, first of all, I'm, sorry to hear of those struggles. My oldest daughter is a cancer survivor, and I know all too well what the chemo is, running amok and doing, right, and all of that.
Right.
I would say, you're again that biggest level of importance is what is my body going to absorb and how is it going to absorb it the best, right? And what are the most critical for me, right? So I would say, like in your situation, when somebody comes to me and say, complex, right? So I'll take those complex notes of what it is and consult with a doctor, a pharmacist, whatever that I have in my team, right? Like in my back pocket. So I don't have to send you out to all of those folks to get all of those other consults, right? Before saying, hey, let me recommend. Like case in point, I have a client who has a non-cancerous brain tumor that's caffeine sensitive, right? So when we're looking at, supplementation and things to help her reduce her, oxidative stress, the anxiety, the overwhelm, but also mitigate the migraines and the headaches and different things, I have to know what ingredients are in there because it's caffeine sensitive, right? Now it's not, so, like you have to know what's in it. You have to know where was it sourced, what kinds of things. And so that's why I say, the quality of the food and the supplements, right? So you could be making frozen vegetables and it's still not going to be as good as getting yourself, like farm fresh broccoli, right? Like, so, frozen broccoli, fresh raw broccoli, and how do I cook it? How do I prepare it? That's going to work best because there are different ways that you prepare it. Some are going to leave you more gassy and others aren't, like, so does your body respond better to baked or air fried versus raw, which I don't know too many people that can eat raw, right? Broccoli, it's pretty harsh, it's intense, it's hard to break down, but, or, steamed, and do I steam it right? But if I boil it, all the nutrients are gone. Anyway, so there's just all these things. So somebody that's just saying to you like, hey, drink this juice, like they're not even asking you the right questions. Because if liquid's going right through and you have all of these things going on in your life, you're not going to absorb any of it. You're just asking you to throw your money away.
Thank you.
That's a theory.
I
I've
answered the question.
never really thought on that level of where it's coming from, where it's grown, how it's grown. And I mean, you've heard of it all. We've heard of it all, but are we really absorbing that? We only have a couple more minutes left. I haven't heard anything from Dr. Pat or Margaret. Do you have any questions? Grace?
No, no. All I can say is you all have made me hungry, and I can't wait to get to the seafood place when I leave here. I have emotional, I eat emotionally. And you mentioned that earlier. Emotional purposes. And I'm guilty of that. I wrote it down. That was the only note I took, and I confessed. Because when I'm happy, I celebrate myself by eating. And I go to a restaurant and I just sit there and I just relax and I reminisce and I'm grateful. I thank God. And then I play on social media. And that's just how I spend my time.
I love that because you're highlighting for us a healthy version, right? A healthy version of it. Like, it's cool, man. I'm a foodie too, in some cases. So I love that, right? It's like, yay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm guilty of though. When when I'm happy, I just treat myself. You know, because it's me and the cell phone. It's me and
Yeah.
social media. It's me and the cell phone. I get to catch up on stuff. You
Yeah.
know? So I use the time, even though it sounds like I'm making jokes, but I use that time wisely because when I'm there, I go in the restaurant to sit there after I eat. I tell them I'm gonna be here a while. And when I'm done doing what I do, and then I come home and then I've taken care of all some of my social media at a time that I really enjoy doing it, but I enjoy doing it at that time.
I want to be like Dr. Patricia when I grow up.
Yeah, so that's it. But yeah. And then I've been walking a little bit more. I've been exercising. I've been doing a little something for myself. You know, I had a trainer, I think I hired her about whenever last month sometime. I did good for 2 weeks, and after that, a distraction started coming. So she kept sending me the link. I said, I ain't doing that today. And I just ignored the link and I told her, just keep sending me the link. I'm gonna keep paying until I get it right. Because when distractions come, it takes me off course. You know, when we do have, whether we're eating, whatever the plan is, that's just the way it is. You know, life shows up and it's not a bad thing because some things take priority over others. And when I get distracted, it's usually something that has to do with me personally or has to do with it needs to be done, my business. And it is what it is. But I walk when I didn't exercise, let me go and I head do the walk, you know. And it makes me feel good. When I know I tried, I feel great. I have to pat myself on the back because sitting in this chair all day long is so easy to do.
Yes,
But
it
getting
is.
up and moving around deliberately is difficult. So when I do it, I commend myself.
There you go. Great. All right, Grace, Margaret, Jocelyn, anything? Our three little quiet ones today. All right. All
Well,
right.
it was a great presentation and and I believe that too, that you need to eat healthfully and you know, I would say avoid the junk food, but
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Thank
Okay. So in the chat, I put a screenshot of all of us there. Please grab that. Go to your social media. Tell everyone what you've learned today. Maybe something you're going to change today. Maybe something you're going to start tomorrow. And then go over to our Facebook group that's just for members and post in there too, because as you can see, all the members were not able to come today. We don't want them to miss out. And then later, probably not until Tuesday or Wednesday, we will upload a copy of this recording to the membership group.
Oh,
You can go back and grab and chop up or do whatever you want with it. So yes, but comment, love it, like it, comment. When you see Dr.
tag me, I will do
something, please say something and love it, like it, heart it, whatever. Same thing with Jen and Margaret and Dar and me and Jocelyn and Tanya, Grace, Tricia.
If I tell you guys this right now, if you want, like anytime I can help you, just tag me so that it goes into my notifications and I'm on it. But if you don't tag me, I check and then I bounce, right? Like if there's something for me to pay attention to, I'm in. So feel free to tag me. I'm happy to comment, give thumbs up, hearts, share, love, whatever. But you gotta tag me.
All need. Tricia, did you post your calendar there in the chat?
At the very beginning, right? Like there's a link.
I missed the first 10 minutes.
Okay, can you post?
Oh, okay. Let me.
Sorry about that.
Oh, don't worry about it because I'm actually going to drop one that's a little bit better. It'll tell me.
Okay.
It'll tell me actually it's a better one for us to use in this case.
Who else came in late? I want to make sure everybody has
Put
everything.
it in here.
I don't know why my hand keeps popping up there. I'm sorry if it's
You're
annoying everybody.
probably moving your hands. Sometimes as we move our hands, it does it.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
There's a link there.
Okay. Perfect. All right. I hope that I will see some of you in the morning is Ask LaDonna. So bring your questions if you have questions for me. And I will send you an invite out here shortly. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night and see you next time. Bye.